being an operating engineer, I have licenses. I have hazmat. It's a heavy-duty license. We knew that we needed what we were breathing. We knew the toxicities, and there were over 1,000 in the air. But there were no masks, there were no respirators, there was nothing down there for us. We were breathing all the toxicities that were in the air and that were in our food while we were down there. It took almost 2 weeks. They started giving out particle masks, which if anybody would have a brain knows, it's for particles and not for toxic fumes. They finally, I think it was a month or so into it, they started giving out respirators and with cartridges. But again, they were the wrong cartridges, and by that time, for the ones that were down there in the beginning, we took our legal hit. We took our death sentence. My name is John Devlin. I was born 2/17/61 in Forest Hills, Queens, and then right after that, my family moved out here to Long Island, where I've lived for the last almost 50 years, out in Suffolk County. Excuse me, I'm an operating engineer, local 15 out of Manhattan, which is we run a heavy equipment machinery and basically in the 5 boroughs of New York. I'm also an emergency responder from Ground Zero 9/11. I got down there the day after on 9/12. I couldn't get off the island. Everything was locked up. But when I did get down there, my jaw dropped. The amount of destruction and the devastation that I witnessed, I never really talked to on the outside, except for things like here. It was like walking into a time zone. I saw it on the TV set, but I never was there. The devastation was 6 stories high. I counted 4 blocks. It could have been 5. You know, your brain goes into a warp zone when you go on a site like that. There were bodies and pieces of bodies all over the place. We stayed there almost 3 days straight, from the 12th on, until we organized. In those 3 days, they were probably the worst that I ever had in my life. The memories of what I did down there are so real. The bodies and the victims. All the ash falling, all the smoke rising with the flames, looking like the souls of the dead victims rising up to heaven. It probably took 2 weeks to show the signs of being down at Ground Zero. What I mean by that is our health. We breathe over 1,000 toxicities that were in the air and in our food without any mask. We didn't have any mask in the beginning. Everyone was too concerned, I suppose, everyone meaning our officials, were getting victims, which there were none, by the way. By the time I got there on the 12th, it was pretty obvious that nothing could live through that destruction, the devastation of terrorism. The magnitude of destruction that was down there, I still don't believe that we were able to clean it up the way we did. We started getting these coughs down there, and this green and yellow mucus would come out of our mouths and our nose. I remember as clear as day telling a whole bunch of my friends, which became like a family down there, that we definitely took years off our lives down there. I'll never forget saying it, and here we are 10 years later, and God, if we did not. You see, the emergency responders that went down there, we weren't fit with any kind of air mask. We didn't have any type of health mask, anything. We were breathing all this in. And the reality is, we're all getting sick now, and that's why we're doing this film right now. It's actually now the 11th year, 2011, that we're doing this. 10 years ago was 9/11, and we're still fighting it. For my brothers and sisters and I, it's the health part. After going down there and staying down there 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, I was there over 9.5 months. I put over 2,000 hours in there of breathing that toxicity. That our government told us the air was fine. We had all the monitoring equipment on me, on my machines. We all asked for copies while we were down there, and we were never given a reason why they wouldn't give it to us. But again, here we are 10 years later, fighting for our lives and fighting for our rights as Americans, as patriots to this country.
When did you feel that you were so sick that you couldn't work anymore? What were the illnesses that you were diagnosed with? And when did you find out that you had throat cancer? So when did you start to feel that you couldn't work?
Right. When we got done with Ground Zero, everyone got out of there. We all had asthma, bronchitis. We all had the breathing problems. The guys that were down there in the beginning, we all walked out of there with asthma and breathing problems. I was healthy as a dog. Never sick in my life before this. It took 8 years for the cancer to show up on me. I have literally level 4 inoperable throat cancer, and on both lymph nodes. I've had 33 radiations, 8 chemos, 5 surgeries, lost the ability to eat, lost the ability to talk. It took me almost 8 months to get to where I am now to be able to talk with you. They want to put a feeding tube in me right now because of all the radiation that I took in my throat and the chemo. It burnt out my saliva glands. I don't have saliva glands. I don't have the little lip in your throat, the epiglottis. It's fried on me, so it stays open. So anytime I drink or try to eat to survive, it lands on my lungs. So I deal with aspiration pneumonia. So the cancer don't kill me. The pneumonia's gonna kill me. But that's not why I'm here. I'm here to let everybody know that there are hundreds, maybe thousands of people just like me that went down there as a patriot to our country and not caring about our own health or our own goodwill, thinking that the government would take care of us. And people just like me sitting, look at all these pills I take now. My life is all about medicine. I go to the doctors 2 or 3 times a month. I see 4 different doctors a month now, where I never saw anyone. I never even had a physician before 9/11. Never. I was 270 pounds before I got sick. I'm down to 180 now. I actually gained 10 pounds in only a year and a half. That's how hard it is to eat and to keep weight on. Excuse me, I gotta take another hit. I just don't believe, and it's not just me. There's so many people out there that have gotten so sick that literally we're on medications just to function every day. There's a medicine to get up. There's a medicine to go to sleep. I never believed in PTSD. I finally went for a test only a while ago, and I found out I had a possible 84. I have 82. I never even believed I had it until I realized what it was. And now I see that I've had it for probably 10 years now. I've had PTSD, lung disease. I can't breathe. I'm on all these inhalers. I have sleep apnea. I don't sleep evidently. My heart stops at night. I just found that news out only a couple of weeks ago. I found that out. You know, I'm finding out how sick I am by actually going to the doctors. You know, I didn't even know I had cancer till I couldn't swallow. You know, how do you go from having nothing to get level 4 cancer? I don't know. But at least I'm a testament to my spirit and my religion.
And how does this, tell me about your family, how does this affect your family?
Well, I got divorced a couple of years ago. But even before that, well, even when I was down at 9/11, I have 2 kids that I was never home for 9.5 months. They were scared. People said I changed when I came back. I didn't believe it, but I guess I did. Changed by like, I don't know, maybe a little bit more withdrawn. We're still really sure about any of that. But my family, I wound up getting divorced. And, you know, it's 50-50, but it was certainly 50% was definitely my fault. And it just had to do with, again, I don't want to blame it on 9/11, so I'm not gonna, but it certainly did have some kind of effect on me.
And what about I know how hard you worked on it. The James Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Bill. I know you went to Washington. I was with you there. Now that it's passed, what are your thoughts?
Like a house, we need a good foundation, and this Olga bill, intact, was a great, wonderful bill. It covered all 9/11 emergency responders. But what I learned, and the bill was passed, so you needed a foundation, but if your foundation is flawed like this bill is now, then it's going to crumble. We need to straighten it, and what we mean by that, they took a lot of money out of the bill. What I mean by that, $3.6 billion was taken out of a bill. So when they take something out of a bill, someone loses. And it is the 9/11 emergency responder. There's over 1,000 people right now that are not covered under this bill. And until everybody is covered. And that's not just the 9/11 responders. That's the citizens in New York that were down there. Anybody that was affected by this terrorism should be covered in this bill.
What about the fact that the cancer is not covered in the bill as of this moment?
Right.
It's just not in there.
Well, again, I never was in this for myself. I hope to God that it is, and I'm not selfish in this. I'm only 50 years old. There's not a chance in hell that I'm ever going to work again with as sick as I am. So the compensation is not just for me. The compensation is for my family. I brought this stuff back to my house. What about my kids? What about the other responders' kids? If I had all that toxicity on me and I wound up with cancer 8-10 years later, did I get my kids sick?